Hello and welcome everyone. It's Monday night. It's the PC League. It's Race on Oz. We're back. Had a week off and we're here for the final two rounds of the season this week in Valencia and next week at Paul Ricard. So we had a little week off. Hope you all enjoyed the break. Let's have a quick look at where we're at. So as mentioned, round 8 of 9 next week will be the final round. Getting back to the Nordschleife, where we were a couple of weeks ago, it was Max Ricker who took out race victory there, so big congratulations to him. He battled it out with Jack Steele for the majority of the race. Jack had a little moment there towards the end and allowed Max to pretty much go unchallenged towards the end there, as the gaps were quite large all the way back to third. So his third race win for the season. Congratulations to Max Ricker there. Silver class victor. Wrong one. This is Matthew Marsh. So that's not silver class. That's the AM class. I got those ones mixed up. But yeah, it was a return of Matthew Marsh for, I think it's just going to be a one-off for this season. He's busy with lots of stuff outside of sim racing, real life stuff. So big congratulations to him. And see, I got him mixed up. Anyway, but it wasn't the AM class winner. This was the silver class winner and third place getter, Adrian Rice. So someone who said he wasn't really that interested in racing. He had a great race. That was his second class victory for the season as well. So big congratulations there to Adrian Rice. We will now get to the standings. As you can see there, Max Ricker is sitting on top of the standings there. He's had 3 race victories for the season. He's about 56 points clear of Jack Steele, who sits in second. His last 2 races there, that is where he has finished. So we'll see if he can break his duck this week. Who's in third? Terry Rayton is in third, 32 points behind. He's had a couple of podiums this season and a race victory. Paul Russell sitting there in fourth. He's had another good season as well. Benjamin Hignett in 5th position there. Matt Frost, once again, another solid season from him. Andrew Lawrenson, he's missed 3 races. He's missed 2. Tonight will be his 4th, and he's had a DNF, so not the season you'd expect from him, but he's had 3 race victories amongst all of that as well. James Pierre Reid in 8th. 9th is Mitch Hayes, and rounding out the top 10 is Peter Wall. Let's take a quick look at the silver standings. So speaking of Peter Wall, he's had 4 class victories for the season, so he leads the standings there on 295 points. Neil Fakeney, he's had 1 class victory, 254 points. Adrian Rice, he added to his single win there, so he's doubled that to 2 class victories in 3rd position. Chris Hildebrandt in 4th on 112 points. Matthew Marsh and Mark Hurley rounding out the standings there. And you can see in the AM class, Wally Masterson leads the way. He's had 2 class victories for the season. Herbertron, he's also had a couple of class victories for the season, as has Lee Perkins. Lee Perkins has had 3. How is he sitting in 3rd position then? Anyway, that's the way it is. He's tied on 198 points with Herbertron. So that's a good little battle going on there. Mark Stevens in 4th. Mike Lewin in 5th. 6th is Jensen. That's Zach Jensen. Got his livery tonight. How good. And Simeon Coco there as well. You can see all the ballast. Ricker on 26. Rayton and Steele on 14. So they'll have a little advantage around here this evening. What else have we got there? Peter Wall, Rice. You can see everyone there for yourselves. As mentioned last week at the Nordschleife, we are in sunny Spain as we have a quick look at the track map. So this one is 14 kilometers. Length is 4.05. 4.05 kilometers to 14 turns, in fact, around this circuit. It's quite tricky to pass around here as well. There's not a lot of passing opportunities, especially in this sort of this infield bit. Just through here as you make your way out through turn 6. Turn 7 is a very, very fast-flowing left-hander, and then you're back into another technical part of the track. By the time you get to about turn 11, you're home free. I think it's about a third gear corner through turn 12, quite a fast one. There's a little bit of a bump there as you're making your way around turn 13. Then turn 14 will bring you home, and that is a lap of the Valencia circuit. As we go to the live images, so less than a minute left, it's Max Ricker who's currently leading the way on the times of 1:31.330. So he's certainly not going to beat that on this lap around. 1:31.330. So he'll be looking to take another pole position this season. Jack Steele as well. Vinny Canero, good to see him back. He's in third there as well. Highest of the silver class, should be no surprise by now, is Peter Wall. And then we've got Herbertron. He's the highest of the AM class runners, as well as free practice just wrapping itself up now. He's out there. James Mack is one of the cars out on circuit as we go to the wait time. We're back to the 60-minute sprint tonight after the last race. Heather Russell's in the chat. How are you, Heather? Hope you're doing well. So we're all set for a back to the sprint. Should be fun. Quick 60-minute race. As James Mack finishing off his lap here. Who else is out there? Neil Fateney is one of them. Mitch Hayes is also another one. The one with the cat on the back. I should also mention, so Peter Wall has joined the admin team, as has Herbertron as well. So both those guys just trying to ease the load of the admin team. Shout out to those guys for putting their hand up to do that. Admin, it's unpaid for starters. Can be a bit of a thankless job. Ruse is, I think it's very much appreciated in this league through all the different formats, whether it's console, PC, Gran Turismo 7, whatever it is, iRacing. It's pretty well pretty well received. Go. Alright, so okay. Everyone's out there. Is Vinny Canero getting out first? No, he isn't. He just got beaten by not Paul Russell, Peter Wall. Paul Russell has changed his livery up tonight as well, I did notice in there. But Peter Wall beat them. Oh, was it Benjamin Hignett might have beat all of them out? He did. In that the Pit Viper livery. There's Vinny Canero. Here's Terry Rayton making his way out. Another Mustang and Adrian Rice. And there's a third Mustang in here this evening. And that's Zach Jensen heading out now. So, got his livery after I missed that one for the last race. So, very striking. You're not going to miss that one. Who else is out there? Hildebrandt. He's got the Lamborghini quote on there. When you drive a Ferrari, when you drive a Lamborghini, it means you are someone or something like that. Jack Steele is out there. Wally Masterson is out there. He's making his way out now. Max Ricker, championship leader, defending champion, in fact, last week's last round's race winner. Let's have a look at the circuit on board with Benjamin Hignett as he'll head down the front straight. You want to dip the car all the way over as far as you can to the right here. Here's the braking mark. I think it just as the pit lane almost ends there. Third gear, runs wide to turn 2. This is Doolan corner, named after Mick Doolan, of course. five-time 500cc world champion motorcyclist. This corner's a little bit of a tricky one here. I do like this circuit. I don't mind it. Very technical, twisty section through here. As he makes his way through 7, now into 8. Pull the car, yeah, back late apex, using all the curb through here. And then if you've nailed the lap, get a good run out of there. And then this is third gear, yeah. Bit of a bump there, you got to watch out for that. It's flat out as hard as you can go. Hard on the brakes for turn 14. And that'll be a lap. A 1:31.3 was the fastest in free practice. Peter Wall makes his way across. Here comes Vinnie Canero. Chris Hildebrandt will be out there as well as he heads towards the line. Jack Steele will be after him. Max Ricker as well. Here's Mitch Hayes coming through. There's Terry Rayton as well, somewhere in there. There he goes. Paul Russell, yes, as I mentioned in that the new livery this evening. Looks nice. 256, that's Jensen. We talked about his livery. Track temperature is at 38 degrees, so it is quite warm. Who else was out there? Was that 512? Ah, yeah, that's Herbtron. Who was that green? Oh, Nando Latenzio. He's making his way out on the track as well. Here's Wally Masterson. So 1:31.492. So not quite as fast as free practice yet. We're only just touching on a third of the way through the session so far. That was Neil Fakeney as well coming through. He is the 471 of Hignet. Let's see what sort of lap he can do on this trip around. Yes, 38 degrees track temperature. Air temperature is 29 degrees. So yeah, extremely warm around here. Here's Vinnie Canero setting his first time lap. Here comes Chris Hildebrandt for another bite of the cherry. Mitch Hayes is in there as well, sitting his first lap. Matt Frost, as Hayes goes into P2. Where are you, Matt Frost? Yeah, there we go, 666. Here comes Paul Russell for his first time lap of the session as well. So we shake out P13 for now. 256. This is Jensen in the Night Vision Mustang. He crosses the line. And I think he's about to start a lap right now. What about you, Nando Latenzio? He's just getting his lap underway. Here comes Wally Masterson. Here's James Mack. He's just tucked in behind. About to get a little bit of a slipstream on to the front straight here. Currently P8. James Mack, 32.485. He improves, goes up into P6. Nice work for him. Here comes Peter Wall, almost 4/10 up on his best time. He's fastest of the silver drivers right now, not too far away from the halfway mark of this session. Who's that in the pits? Oh, that's Lee Perkins, 33, the 3-time winner of the AM class, and equals second right now in the championship standings. That was Hildebrandt just getting out of the way. Matt Frost with another new livery for this race. He seems to be changing it almost on a race-by-race basis recently. The 85, here comes Terry Rayton. This looks like someone's gone off. That was Hildebrandt who's gone off at turn 14. He's just getting out of the way of everyone down there. Here's Jensen. This is a lot faster than his previous. This will give us a bit more of a true indication. P14 for now. Here comes Herbitron. He moves up into 10th position. Max Ricker is in the pits. He's the fastest car of the session so far. Neil Fakeney currently down in 16th. 33.3 is his best time. Latanzio and Perkins are the only two to have not set a timed lap so far for the session as we tick over to the halfway mark. It's Max Ricker leading the way from Steele and Hayes. Rayton, Hignett, Kinero, Frost, Wall, Mack and Herbitrine. Highest of the silver class is Peter Watt, and highest of the AM class is Herbitrine. Two familiar names we've seen at the top of the silver and AM classes respectively this season thus far. Only one more to go after this one. It'll be at Paul Ricard. It'll be another sprint race. So we've already done the 3 100-minute races, down to just a couple of sprint races to cap off what has been a rather entertaining season. We've had, I think the highlight of the season was probably Spa and the changeable conditions that we had there that sort of threw the cat amongst the pigeons right at the end. But we've had some good racing, I think, all throughout the season, which has been great to see. Here's Jensen looking to improve on his 15th position, not quite there at the moment. James Mack, he's currently in 10th spot on the grid, a 1:32.160, so just over a second off the pace right now with Max Ricker, who's 4 tenths ahead of Steele. Hignett just a 10th behind him, as is Hayes'. Mack doing a little bit of racing in qualifying there with Wally Masterson. It's going to cost him a bunch of time, so that'll ruin his lap. Here's Neil Fakeney. He's P14 in the number 9. He moves up into P8 in the number 9, so nice work from him. Here's Matt Frost. He's a couple of tenths up on his best time in the BMW, making his way through turn number 12. Left-hander. Final left-hander. Turn 14. Just a little bit of time there towards the end of the lap, and that is it for him. Here's Adrian Rice, currently P12 right now in the Mustang. I'm not finding it quite to his liking as he did at the Nordschleife a couple of weeks ago, as Wally Masterson gets out of the way there. Track temperatures haven't really changed. It's at fast, so not optimum. You'd expect it to be fast with those temperatures, them to cool down a little bit. 2:10 in the afternoon. As Adrian Rice continues on his lap with less than 5 minutes remaining. So it's still Max Ricker. He's 1.5 tenths now, so Jack Steele has closed up that gap at 31.147. So he's gone faster in qualifying than he did in free practice. Has Max Ricker, fastest time in free practice was a 31.330. So he's beaten that by about a tenth and a half, almost 2 tenths so far in this session. As Adrian Rice looking to improve on his time, he will, but he will not improve his position of P12 at the moment. Wally Masterson doesn't improve his time, so he will remain in P16. Lee Perkins, he has set a time, 33.435. He's out there right now. That's Peter Wall in front of him. Hignett to the rear. Frost in there as well. He's making his way through turn number 8. And he'll go through this series of left, right, left. Or right, left, right. Whatever it is. And then head down towards turn 12. Bump right there can bring you unstuck pretty quickly. It's not an old track, but it's not a new track either. It was with the DLC. How long has it been around for? It's been around for a little while now as the Valencia DLC track. Here's Adrian Rice again. He's a 10th up. He's just chipping away at the moment. Ricker is out there, Steele is out there, so everyone's out there bar Chris Hildebrandt. 3 minutes left in this qualifying session. So setting the grid for the penultimate race of the season, round number 8. As mentioned, will be in Paul Ricard next week, which is not a bad circuit to finish off the season. Adrian Rice does better his time again, but not his position right now. Here's Max Ricker. Terry Rayton will be ahead of him, so he's not going to improve on his time. He'll remain in P5 for now. Here's Paul Russell. As mentioned, more predominantly baby blue livery this week in the Porsche. He's currently P14 right now. 32.587, so 1.4 seconds off the pace. Let's see if he can improve here. Maybe will he touch the top 10? Possibly. No, P12 is where he will land for now. Vinny Canero out there in 6th. So he's not going to improve on that time right now either. Let's have a look at Jack Steele. So 1.5 tenths off the pace. So he's the closest car to our pole position sitter, Max Ricker, who's in the pits right now. So potentially thinks that he might have done enough, and he's happy to just wait and see how all of this unfolds. Get back to Steele in a moment. Here's Wally Masterson. He's completing one of his laps right now. Rice is just ahead of him. That's not going to improve his time. Will Wally Masterson improve his time and position? No, he will not. So that's where he'll remain right now for now in P14. Here's Terry Rayton. He was almost a 10th up on his best time. Let's see if he can sneak into the second row of the grid. He can in P4, just by 2 1,000ths of a second there, the difference between he and Mitch Hayes. Where are we? I'm just trying to see who else is out there. Herbertron, but he's not going to improve on that time. Peter Wall, he's not going to improve on his time either. Neither will Neil Fakeney. He's 8 tenths down. Ricker is out there. 30 seconds left in the session. So this is last drinks for these guys out there right now. Wall will probably sneak another one in. So will probably Perkins. Wall decides to come into the pits. Lee Perkins, he's going to set a lap, but it's not going to improve his position or his time right now. What about Terry Rayton? Having a look at here, Max Ricker, he will not get another bite of the cherry. That's it for him. So a 31.147 is his best time of the session. Here comes Vinny Canero. He's coming into the pits as well. 5.12. That's Herbertron. He's coming into the pits as well. 85. That looks like it's Terry Rayton. So almost improving on his time. Doesn't need to improve by much. There is 5 1,000ths of a second separating Hignett, Rayton and Hayes right now. So extremely tight between those three drivers out on track. Have gone 000. Nando Tanzio heading into the pits. Jensen is looking to set the time. He's not going to improve, so 17th is it for him. 996. That's Jack Steele, the only man that can really challenge Max Ricker right now. He's lost a little bit of time there. He's coming into the pits, so that's it for his session. Here's James Mack. He will improve. So he's currently in P11. He'll jump up into the top 10 whereabouts. P8. Nice work, James Mack. Good driving from him. Neil Fakeney is going to start the race from P9. Lee Perkins, he's not going to improve. He's about a 10th off his best time. So 16th for him right now. Frost, he doesn't improve either. So it's 7th for Matt Frost. But congratulations, Max Ricker. He is our pole position sitter. Big congrats to him. Neil Fakeney, he will start. He's the silver class, highest of the silver class drivers. And Herbertron, he's the highest of the AM drivers. So that's our grid right now. All 18 cars there, done and dusted. That's qualifying over and done with. we are going to get into the race very, very shortly. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes, and we'll get this thing underway. Round number 8. I'll see you soon.
So it's going to be a tough race ahead, and of course the challenge is to feel your way through the traffic now.
Yeah, Audi is quite faster than us here, so and yeah, I'm sure it will tough. Never know.
Had to work quite a bit for it. I mean, it's obviously also the new car since this year, so we had to figure out a bit how to work with it and how to get it fast. The Mercedes have been very strong all season. It's been not easy to beat them, but we did a few times, and I think we are where we are. I think we deserve a bit to have these points. We had to work for it, so hopefully we can end it well.
We already have 2 championships in a row, so let's try to make it 3. We know Valencia is a good track for the Mercedes, and not so much for the Audi, but we also know we have an evolution from last year. So yeah, let's see how it goes, but I believe if we can just be consistent and just score good points and just do our best, we should be in the mix. So yeah, let's see how it goes, but the goal is definitely to be champion. Yeah.
3 race wins have gone the way of Tibor Bogoslavsky and Raffaele Marciello this season. Traditionally, they tend to come out on top of race 2, for which Raffaele qualifies. Key to their chances this weekend is going to be the pace of Tibor Bogoslavsky in the qualifying session and how close to the opposition he can stay in the opening stint of the opening race. For Raffaele Marciello then, this is an important weekend.
Yeah, let's say they're quite strong now. They showed today like really good speed. It's a good track for them, I think. So it will not be easy, because even if you win both races and they will do second both races, they still will be champion in sprint. But I mean, the results overall for me. So I will try to speak with Dries and say you in sprint and you give me overall an endurance, maybe it can be a good deal.
Alright, we're back. So less than a minute to go before these guys will get underway. Let's have a look at the grid. So it's Max Ricker setting the pace in car number 1. He'll start the race from P1 on the grid. Jack Steele. I think I've talked enough about how good of a season this guy is having. A well-deserved P2 on the front row of the grid. Benjamin Hignett, he'll be starting from P3. Definitely keep a close eye on him at the start of this one. Terry Rayton, who will begin the race there from P4. P5 is Mitch Hayes, the highest of the Ferrari runners. Vinny Canero, in his first race back for a couple of races. He's starting the race there from P6. On 7th is the 666. It's Matt Frost from 7th position. 8th is James Mack in the 623 Porsche in position 8. 9th is Neil Fakeney, so car number 9 in position number 9. Peter Wall will begin the race there from P10 on the grid. In 11th is the highest of the AM runners. It will be Herbitron in the Ferrari. 12th is Paul Russell in the Porsche there. 13th is Adrian Rice. 14th is Wally Masterson. 15th will be the Lamborghini there of Chris Hildebrandt. 16th is the number 33, the green and gold. That's Lee Perkins. 17th will be Zach Jensen, and 18th will be Nando Latenzio. So fingers crossed all of his equipment works for this one as they're making their way on the warm-up lap now. And we will circulate around and we will get this one underway. Race number 8 of 9. So next week will be the final race of this season. Season number 3, I think, for 2024. I think I saw something about the next season starting not too long after this one as well. So keep an eye on that as well. So there at Paul Russell. Some track conditions: 35 degrees. Track temperature 28 degrees. Air temperature. Track is at optimum. What is the pitch strategy for this evening? I'll get that up for you very, very shortly. Looks like mandatory stop for tyres. Refueling time fixed at 25 seconds, only relevant for non-tyre pit stops, as refueling always fits within the tyre minimum stop of 30 seconds. There you go. So mandatory stop for tyres, refueling time is fixed at 25 seconds, as we are just moments away from getting this race underway, as Ricker and Steele on the front row. I'll hit the line very, very shortly. There it is. We've got the signal. Looks like Hignett got a pretty good jump. So did Kinero. Steele's already fallen back into P3. This is Terry Rayton making a late move down into turn 1. So he's made up a little bit of ground already there as well. Looks like everyone managed to get through without any dramas. They have, as we're moving my way back up through the field there. And it looks like it's Ricker. A good start from him. Hignett's jumped up a couple of spots already. I said to keep an eye on him. I think he jumped up from P3. Terry Rayton has made up a spot there as well. Steele, he's dropped back from 2nd into 4th. Kinero in 5th there. Herbertron doing battle there with Adrian Rice down in 12th and 13th right now. That was Paul Russell. Where are you, Paul Russell? On here. Yeah, he's making the move there on Peter Wall. Looks like Jensen has made up a couple of spots too. There we go. We can see him there, but Russell gets that job done. And back to the front of the field. 3:15 in the afternoon. We've got cloudy conditions. So some drivers with their lights on. One of them is Hignett. So it's a McLaren right now. Wall manages to get past Russell there. So they've swapped back positions. And then Adrian Rice looking to put a move on Herbertron there. That's Hildebrandt and Masterson in the background there as well. As this is the first lap of the race all done. It's Ricker leading from Hignett, Rayton, Steele, Kinero, Hayes, Frost, Mack, Fakeney, Wall. Looks like Rice makes a position up there. So does Chris Hildebrandt. But yeah, good clean racing from everyone to begin with. So yeah, nice start. They've got the first lap out of the way. All 18 facing the right way around. And yeah, we're going to settle in now for a good scrap with Ricker leading the way as they head towards the back part of the circuit. Steele. So he's lost a couple spots off the start there, as has Hayes. He's dropped 2, so has Steele. The rest of the field has all been pretty good as well, either sort of dropping one or moving one. No big deal, which is good for all drivers involved. This is Kinero giving chase to the Aston Martin. Steele that we're on board with earlier there. And he's got Hayes tucked in behind him as he finds that Porsche on the front straight. Making ground up under brakes here on the Aston, not quite in this trip around. So Ricker padding the gap right now, just over half a second. The difference between him and Hignett. Hignet's got this man for company there. That's Terry Rayton in the Mustang there, the aqua coloured Mustang. This is the front view for Benjamin Hignett. Having a good run of it so far in the opening stages of this one. So at the pit stop, as mentioned, it's mandatory fuel. 25 seconds is the timer. Mandatory stop for tyres. Sorry, yeah, mandatory stop for tyres. Mandatory stop for fuel. Sorry, fuel, tyres. Am I looking at the right one? No, mandatory stop for tyres, refueling time fixed to 25 seconds. Yeah, I am looking at the right one. So Frost manages to get the job done there as well. Let's go back to the replay. Frost on Hayes. I wonder if Hayes had a little moment there, and that's opened it up for Matt Frost to sneak through. Looks like James Mack wanted a little piece of the pie as well as he came through. We go back to live images, and Mack wasn't able to make any headway on that position. Gap just hovering around sort of half a second to sort of 8/10 right now between Ricker and Hignett. And Hignett doing a good job of keeping Rayton at bay as the sun just starting to peek through there as predicted on the forecast. Track temperatures 35 degrees, air is 28, track is at optimum. But a very orderly start from everyone at the beginning of this race. Everyone's been on their best behaviour as Neil Fakeney has a little off. Let's see what happened there. So that's Peter Ward just tucked in behind him. James Mack ahead. That's Paul Russell in the background there, as well as Adrian Rice. And oh yeah, that back end wanted to step out there, and he just ran off. So he drops a couple of spots. That's Adrian Rice heading through. Herbertron wasn't able to take advantage of that. There's Hildebrandt looking to send a move down the inside at turn 14. Not quite. Can he get a little toe here? Down the front straight, maybe launch an attack into turn 1. As mentioned, it is quite a tricky circuit to overtake on. So it's not particularly overtaking friendly around here. These guys doing their best. Chris Hildebrandt making a liar of me there as he goes down the inside of Herbertron. And can he hold on to it? I think he can. Yeah, he does. So nice work there from Chris Hildebrandt. He takes the spot away from Herbertron. He moves himself up into P13. Back at the front of the field, the gap is almost at a second now. Hovering around about a second between Ricker and Hignett. Terry Rayton, 7/10 the difference. Jack Steele right on the back of Terry Rayton now as well. So having a look at lap times, Ricker getting 31.357, fastest lap of the race so far. Only been racing for 7.5 minutes though. It was a couple of tenths faster, advantage Hignett over Rayton that last lap. Rayton was a little bit faster than Steele. And Vinny Canero, who's the only one in the top 5 in the 32s. 32 flat for him. Across the line. I think that's McKay's. He might have someone for company. No, he doesn't. You can see all the other cars in the background there as well, making their way down the front straight. That's the entire field, pretty much. Nando Tenzio is the final car in the field in P18 right now. As we head back to the front of the field and having a look here at Jack Steele. So he's all over the back of Terry Rayton right now. But yeah, Ricker just opening up that gap ever so slightly again, just inching another tenth away. 1.2 seconds is the gap. And he's looking very comfortable in terms of his pace. Right now is Max Ricker, 5.12. That's Herbertron. What happened, Herbertron? Let's have a look. Oh, pick him up here already. So this is after the... Oh, he's just trying to flip himself around there. It's after the fact, unfortunately. Oh, yeah, he's just getting himself sorted out. And he's now down in P18. James Mack battling it out with Mitch Hayes. So Mitch Hayes, he dropped 3 spots from the start. Began the race in 4th, finds himself in 7th right now. The other car to drop 3 spots is Neil Fakeney. And biggest faller is Herbertron. He's dropped down 7 spots from 11th to 18th. Our biggest riser, there's multiple. Terry Rayton up 2, Russell up 2, Rice up 2, Hildebrandt up 2. Yeah, the only cars that have neither risen nor fallen is Max Ricker, James Mack, and Wally Masterson. Everyone else has had a change of position, either for the positive or the negative. In the opening 10 minutes of this one, James Mack looking to take another spot away on Hayes as he goes down the inside. That was at turn number... Was that the back there? 7, 6. One of those. Might finally get it done here. He does. He moves the Porsche up into P7 now, James Mack. So up 1 spot from where he started on the grid. Jack Steele now right on the bumper of the Mustang on to Terry Rayton. 1.3 seconds the gap between Ricker and Hignett. 1.1 seconds between Rayton and Hignett in third there. In second and third. Terry Rayton, though, he's got Jack Steele to contend with, so plenty of action coming from behind there, as well as the car in front. Slap around, feet too flat to Max Ricker. 31.935, so almost a tenth faster on that previous lap was Hignett. So he's having a good run. He deserves a good run. He's had some bad luck recently, and I've talked a lot about how he's one of those guys who will persist on no matter what state his race is in. But good to see him having a nice result so far up there in P2. He's only finished, his highest finishing position has been P3 this season a couple of races ago. So yeah, good to see him having a good run of it this evening. Back to Steele, battling it out with Terry Rayton. Field starting to get a little bit strung out now, as we're not too far away from the quarter-way mark of this race. These 60-minute races tend to fly by pretty quickly, and today is no such... Oh, what's that? Lee Perkins in the pits. I wonder if that was scheduled for him. Not too sure. How long has he been in there for? He's only just got in. Maybe this is a scheduled stop. Keep an eye on that and see if he gets going very, very shortly. But back to the battle for 3rd and 4th right now. Terry Rayton, Jack Steele. 3rd and 4th right now. Canero. He's hanging around this group as well. He's less than a second behind, as the gap just drifts out ever more slightly between Ricky and Hignett. 1.5, 1.6 is the gap between the two. You can see just in the foreground there, Ricker and Hignett. We're watching Terry Rayton and Jack Steele go at it. Last lap around 31.760 to Terry Rayton, about 3/10 faster than Jack Steele on that last trip around. Whatever the gap was that he created is definitely closing right back up again with Steele less than half a second away. The view from the bumper. From behind as well. Body cam. So 1.5 tenths faster on that lap was Jack Steele. Listening to the distinctive engine note of the V8. The Aston Martin, the only Aston in the field. Jack Steele, he has finished on the podium 4 times this season. A couple of seconds and a couple of thirds. So he's no stranger to battling it out up front. He was battling for the lead last race a couple of weeks ago at the Nordschleifer, but made a mistake late race that caused him some major dramas there at the end. Vinny Canero hanging on to these guys as well, so he was actually faster than the 2 drivers ahead. So he's got pace in that Porsche. He's the highest of the Porsche runners. James Mack is the other one on the list. He's in 7th, a couple of spots behind these guys. Paul Russell, the other Porsche in the field, in 10th right now. Gap has drifted out even further, so it's at now at 2.1 seconds. So we're having a look at Canero here. So he might be close enough to have a look down the inside of turn 1, not to be. I think the Porsche would go well around here generally with the nature of the track. Not too power hungry. But yeah, Vinny Canero doing a good job. Speaking of Porsches, we might as well go have a look at another one over here. So the other battle we've got going on is Peter Wall and Paul Russell. So Wall, he's up 1 spot from where he started. Russell's up 2 spots from where he started. And down there in 9th and 10th right now. Peter Wall, he is leading the silver class. 32.490 was his last lap. 33.1 from Paul Russell was his previous lap. So Peter Wall definitely has some pace. 4-time class winner. Wouldn't make it number 5 this evening. Have to wait and see. Not too far away from a 3rd race distance. This is still Max Ricker leading the way from Benjamin Hignett as Rayton, Steele and Canero. That's your top 5 right now. We're riding with Jack Steele. Go back to that bonnet cam. That's the gap between 3rd and 4th right now. Gap between 4th and 5th. There's Mitch Hayes. He is making his way into the pits. So this looks like this is a scheduled stop for him. Looks like Lee Perkins didn't make it out of the pits. So I think that was the end of his race. It's a pretty tight field between 2nd, 3rd and 4th right now. And Vinny Canero would be sniffing a podium if the chips end up falling his way this evening. We're watching them make their way through 9 and 10 into the right-hander of 11. Up through 12. A little bump there. It's kind of like right in the, I think it's in the green AstroTurf bit from memory. Gonna have to keep an eye on Kinero because lap times, Rayton 32.3, 32.4 from Steele, and 32.3 from Kinero on that trip around. So, yeah, Steele, I'll just keep one eye on the rear mirror as Rayton gets a little bit squirrely at that corner. Ricker cruising, only car in the 31s on that last lap, at 31.975. So he is liking the conditions. The conditions are optimal. Track is 37 degrees and the temperature is 29 right now. Beautiful summer weather. Wouldn't be particularly comfortable in real life in the cockpit with those sort of temperatures. Spending winter in Melbourne, can't dream of those temps right now, although the weather hasn't been too bad here. We've had sort of high teens, low 20s last week. It's been quite refreshing. August has not been as cold as it has been in previous years. July was bitterly cold. It was not enjoyable at all. As the Tanzio and Masterson, a couple of Ferraris, scrapping it out in 13th and 14th right now. But this is really the action I want to keep an eye on because Kinero is closed up even further now on under that rear wing of the Aston Martin. So he might just be at the end of biding his time right now. He might have worked out where he wants to pounce. We'll wait and see how that comes about. But very, very tight between 3rd, 4th and 5th. Right now the gap has grown ever further. 3.5 seconds now the difference between Max Ricker and Benjamin Hignett, as Wally Masterson, he makes his way into the pits. Paul Russell and Peter Wall, they swap positions, and seeing right at the end of it, just into, that's turn 1 I think, and looks like he's going to get him into turn 2. Does. Nice work from Paul Russell. There you go. Beautiful. As we go back to live images, he's Steele, so he's closed right up on the rear of Terry Rayton. He's going to be able to get it past here. They're going to go side by side. Out of 11 into 12 into the right hander. They go side by side action. They don't make any contact. Rayton able to hold his position there. Steele able to keep it moving in the right direction, and Kinero just waiting in the wings. He's waiting for any scraps that may fall his way. Any of these two guys make a mistake, and he's going to be there ready to pounce. They head down the front straight. Seen this a few times already, as we're about almost 22 minutes in, so we're over a third race distance. And there's a bit of a logjam starting to develop here for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Hignett's got 2 seconds between he and Terry Rayton, and he's got 3 seconds between he and Max Ricker. So Hignett in a good position right now. He'll be thinking about possible podiums as well. We're still a ways off the halfway mark, so maybe a little bit too early to be thinking of that, but he's in a strong position right now, as is Jack Steele, to launch an attack on Terry Rayton. He goes down the inside, and that didn't quite work out for him. It was pretty ambitious. Let's go back to the replay and see what happens here. He did a good job not to make any contact with Terry Rayton. Here it is. Whoa. He just did not pull up at all. The bonnet cam there for us, and we are back to live images. So Jack Steele, he's dropped down into P5 there, so he's a couple of seconds behind Kiniro, and then he's got Matt Frost right behind him in the BMW there, so he's going to have his hands full as Terry Rayton, he makes his way into the pit, so that's a bit of sort of insult to injury for Steele. He wouldn't have known that Terry Rayton was going to be pitting, obviously, but just makes that mistake a little bit worse than what it was, because it ended up not being necessary, as Rayton had to hit his marks. There we go. He'll go up. He'll do his, we'll see. It's mandatory fuel, or the mandatory tyres. It's mandatory stop for tyres. There you go. Refueling time fixed. 25 seconds. There we go. Other cars in the pits. Hildebrandt as well with Rayton. Rayton drops, off he goes. And he's making his way out of the pits now, down in 13th. So we'll see where he filters back up. But he's pitted out of 3rd. He's Steele and Kiniro as well. See if they decide to respond. But our race leader and 2nd position as well there in the pits. Here comes Kiniro. He's going to come into the pits. Steele will continue on. Kiniro's got to hit his Vinnie Kiniro's got to hit his marks here, because he's going to have Terry Rayton to contend with. Terry Rayton, his pit stop was 1 minute and 5 seconds all in total. It seems about par time. It's on a little bit the longer side of the par time, though. Kiniro, bang, hit his marks. Here comes Terry Rayton. He's just coming through 9, now through 10, into 11. Kiniro still stopped. We've got about another 30 seconds to go as Terry Rayton heading down towards turn 12. Navigates that without any dramas. Kiniro is at 50 seconds now, so we've got about another 15 seconds to go. And I think Terry Rayton's going to be able to do this relatively comfortably. There's Kiniro, Rayton, Kiniro. Oh, Kiniro's going to get out in front of him. Nice job, Vinnie Kiniro. And minute 1, so 4 seconds faster than Terry Rayton, and it has paid off. He's managed to come out in front of him. He's in 12th at the moment, but that's about 3rd overall net, if you like, once the pit stops are all shaken out now there as well. So nice work, Vinnie Kiniro. I wonder if Terry Rayton might have had a little bit of damage. There's something he needs to repair there, not too sure. As Jack Steele, he now comes into the pits. So we'll keep an eye on Kiniro and Rayton as well. This is a pressure stop for him. Here comes Peter Wall. A drive-through penalty, 111. That was Chris Hildebrandt. I was going to say that would be bitterly disappointing if it was Vinnie Kiniro after he's done all the hard work there. There's Steele. Here comes Kiniro. So he's just through 10 and 11. That was about where we picked up Rayton. So might not be enough to get through. Steele's going to have to still nail this stop. He's at 40 seconds now. Here comes Kiniro coming through the long left-hander of 13 into 14 now. Steele still stationary. Probably about another 15 seconds to go. This is going to be close. He drops. Here comes Kiniro. Steele coming out. Kiniro. Steele, is he going to get him? I think he is. He does. And what about Terry Rayton? Terry Rayton doesn't. So Steele comes out in between Vinnie Kiniro and Terry Rayton. So Terry Rayton, he's lost the most out of the pit stops there. Steele, his pit stop time was 1 minute 1 as well. So 4 seconds faster than Rayton. So whatever happened to Rayton in the pits, whether he had some damage he needed to repair, I can't recall seeing him make contact with anything or any one. But whatever it was, that 4 seconds, it has cost him position on the racetrack. So he's probably in about 5th outright right now as Hildebrandt has cleared his drive-through. Here comes Adrian Rice into the pits. So he was the highest of the silver drivers, but I think Peter Wall has already pitted. Has he? Yes, he has. Where is Peter Wall? Yeah, he's just coming out of 8 too, so this will be interesting. The other silver class driver is Neil Fakeney, so let's see what happens here with Peter Wall. As Rice 40 seconds in to his stop. I think this could be pretty tight. What was Wall's stop total? 1:05. So Adrian Rice still going. Here comes Wall. There's Rice. Wall, will he get in? We're going to see. Keep our eyes to the right-hand corner of the screen. And almost not quite though. He's going to have the tyres up to pressure. It goes down the inside. Nita makes hay while the sun shines here, and he does. Gives him a little bit of a nudge, gets the elbows out, and Peter Wall takes his opportunity, and he gets the job done. So he had 1:05 as we go back to the replay here. So his pit stop was 1:05. Adrian Rice's was at 1:02, so 3 seconds faster. He just needed that extra second. That was the little nudge that Wall gave Rice. And that's going to be a battle that will go to the end of this race because they've cleared both their stops. They've both cleared their stops. And that's all done. So Frost is in the pit. So is Russell. So is Max Ricker, our race leader. That means Benjamin Hignett is currently leading the race. James Mack, he's up there in P2. He hasn't stopped yet, nor has Nando Latenzio. That was a pretty quick stop there from Max Ricker at 1:01. So, no, 1:03. Okay, still on the faster side. Fasterish, kinda. Let's see what Hignett does. If history is a good indicator of future performance, which it generally isn't in some cases. Let's see. Benjamin Hignett might stay out for a little bit longer. He has been known to really stretch it out, so it's not surprising to see him head around for another lap. And here's this battle here between Kinnear, Steele and Rayton. It's Rayton's turn this time to just sit off these two, let them scrap it out and see what falls his way. We're just over the halfway mark, so we've just ticked over 31 and a bit minutes. We're on the second half of this race, which has been quite entertaining so far. We've had more action going on in the pits than we have on the track. As Hildebrandt, he gets past Jensen. Am I going to pick it? Oh, that was Jensen. There he is. He's just coming out of the pits. And this will be Hildebrandt zooming through. He does. And he gets that position. So he's in P15 right now is Chris Hildebrandt, 4th in class. And I think this is going to be the scrap that I think we'll be watching for the majority towards the end. Hignett is approaching, not too far away from completing this lap, so we'll see what he decides to do here, whether he pits or not. Oh, he's sliding that McLaren through there the last couple of times around, so just flirting with a little bit of danger, but I feel like that's kind of his style. Is Benjamin Hignett doesn't really leave much out there. Well, he doesn't leave much in reserve, he leaves it all out there. There we go, so he's making his stop. So this is a pressure stop for him as well. He's going to have to hit his marks. 1:01 is a fast time. 1:03 is in the middle, and 1:05 is definitely on the slower side here. So let's just follow him through. We'll get back to the battle of Steele and Rayton. James Mack is coming into the pits as well. And we'll see where Max Ricker is. Bang, hits his stop. There he goes. So he's already at a total of 32 seconds right now. Here comes Max Ricker. He should do this quite comfortably by the looks of things. As Hignett still has about another 20 seconds left for his stop. There's Ricker heading around the final turn. There's Hignett. Not going yet. There goes Ricker. So he makes his way through. Kinnear, Steele and Rayton, they'll all head through as well. And Hignett coming out of the pit. So he is going to drop down into... Oh, he's second on the road. There you go. Nice and close to Ricker. And there we go. That's P1 and P2. Right now, I thought it was a little slower than that. It was a minute in total. So I think that's the fastest stop of the race as well, is Benjamin Hignett. So a lightning fast stop from him has him in contention for a race victory right now. There's the race leader, Max Ricker. Those guys are going to battle it out to the end here. Where are you, Nando Latenzio? Faintly slotted through there. And then we've got Steele and Kinnear going on here with Terry Rayton. So these three will be tied together for the remainder of the race. And the gap is about 1 second, the difference between Ricker and Hignett right now. And we've got Steele, Rayton and Kinnear. Oh, Kinnear makes a little bit of a mistake out of turn 12. That's going to open it up for Steele. We go on board with him. Saw him make a pretty big lunge through here not too long ago, just before the pit stops. That's Terry Rayton there, just on to his left. They're going to go side by side down the front straight. Terry Rayton's got a pretty good run. He'll have the inside line here. Who can be the latest on the brakes? Steele goes around the outside. They're going to still be squabbling over it at turn 2. We saw Rice and Wall make a little bit of contact here when they made their overtake. No such, nothing of that nature happening right now. There's a good, clean pass there by Terry Rayton. He makes a stick and he replaces Jack Steele. So Terry Rayton moves up into 4th position. Jack Steele drops down there into 5th. But great racing from those two. Clean, hard racing between the two of them. No contact made. Lots of respect, lots of room given, but no quarter drawn. That was good stuff from those two. Good, hard, clean, fair racing. That's what they love to see between those two. Gap now, 1 point, still hovering around about a second at the moment between these two. So Hignett certainly has his work cut out for him right now to try and catch Max Ricker, looking to make it 2 wins on the trot. And that'll give him a total of 4 victories for the season. So I've spoken to him a lot in the post-race interviews this season. Peter Wall is another man I've spoken to a lot in the post-race interviews this season. He's leading Silver Class right now. So he's currently in 10th position outright and leader of the Silver Class. He's got Adrian Rice tucked in behind him, who's got a class victory. So 4 class victories for Peter Wall, 2 to Adrian Rice. That's Paul Russell just up ahead. And then Wally Masterson, he is the AM class leader right now. He's in 14th outright. He's got Chris Hildebrand between he and Zach Jensen with 23 minutes remaining on the clock. Hignett's just closed the gap to just under a second now. Last lap around, Ricker 31.487 compared to a 31.542. Doesn't look like we're going to get any sort of weather through here. A little bit of cloudy conditions to finish this race off, but track is at 33, air is 28. It is at optimum. A little bit of wind out there. As Steele gets past Terry Rayton, let's see how that came about. I think that was out of, this is up through turn 7, I think. Yeah, into, Rayton just ran deep there. Under brakes, out-braked himself. And Steele was able to slot through there, so nice work there from Jack Steele. We're back to live images of Terry Rayton dives down the inside of turn 14. runs a little bit deep, gathers himself back up. There's going to be a side-by-side drag race down the front straight. Aston Martin versus Ford. And Jack Steele, he's going to have the inside line here. So this is the shoes on the other foot now for Terry Rayton. We saw great driving between these two a couple of laps ago. Rayton having a look down the inside, too far back to have a lunge. And Jack Steele takes that spot back, so he moves back up into P4. Terry Rayton in P5. They swap positions with 21.5 minutes left in this one. Vinny Kinero, he's a couple of seconds up the road, so he's sniffing a podium right now. Benjamin Hignett, he's sniffing a potential win here. Max Ricker is certainly going to start feeling the pressure with just over 21 minutes left. He's going to race this thing home. Hignett's not going to give it up without a fight. And he's definitely got some pace in that McLaren. So it's a McLaren 1-2. And a Porsche in third, rounding out the podium right now. We're set up for a very, very entertaining finish to this one. Round number 8 of the season. Penultimate round, round number 9 next week at Paul Ricard in France. It's been very European heavy as this season. A couple of trips to the United States. We started the season off in Coda. We're in Laguna Seca as well, and then the rest of it's been done mainly in Europe for the remainder of it. So that means we won't be too many European circuits next season. Steele just running a little bit wide there at turn 1. It's invalidated his lap. Hignett continuing to close the gap. So it's at half a second now. Last lap around, 31.582 to Ricker, 31.377, so a couple of tenths faster on that previous lap was Benjamin Hignett. 6 tenths the difference right now between the two of them. Into the final third of this race we go. Time in game 4:33 in the afternoon. Track 33, air temperature 28, still at optimum. Not expecting that to change at all for the remainder of this race. So Ricker, he's got some real pressure being applied to him now from behind. Good to see Benjamin Hignett having a good run of things as well. As mentioned, his best finishing position is third a couple of races ago. So this would best his finishing position for the season, but I'm sure he will want to go that one further and get P1 next to his name. He's doing his utmost best to do that right now as they file through turn 1. Steele doing the same thing, so that's the difference between third, there's Vinny Kinero, fourth Jack Steele, and then a little bit further back is Terry Rayton. So second, the difference between Kinero and Steele. Last lap around, Kinero did a 32.6, Steele did a 31.7, Rayton did a 32.4. So Kinero, he might start to feel the pressure shortly from Jack Steele if that pace continues on. Gap just drifting out ever so slightly to 8 tenths, 9 tenths a second now. Difference between the two. Ricker's going to have to drive a mistake-free race for the remainder of this one to keep the number 471 behind him with 18 minutes left on the clock. Peter Wall, he's trying to close down Paul Russell, just having a look at the battle for silver. Adrian Rice, he's 2.9 seconds behind Peter Wall, a 32.6 on that last lap to Wall, a 32.5 to Adrian Rice. So the gap is at 3 seconds. He's going to have to take more than a tenth of a second a lap out of him to contend for his third class victory and to prevent Peter Wall from his 5th class victory. Having a cracking season is Peter Wall. He's in the top 10 in the championship as well. He's got Mitch Hayes a couple of points ahead of him, and Mitch Hayes is currently P8 on the road as well. Where did he start? He started in 4th position. So unfortunately he hasn't been able to regain those spots back after losing them at the start of this one. Steele, he dropped a couple of spots as well. Fakeney down 3 and Herbertron down 6 in P17 there. Latenzio, he's up 5. Kinero, Russell, they're up 3 each as well. And 2 to James Mack and Adrian Rice. So we haven't had any major rises and fallers, which is generally pretty good. You don't want to see, it generally means that you've had accidents along the way. The attrition rate's been pretty good. We start with 18. We've lost Lee Perkins along the way. That is it for this race. As Hignett, less than half a second. You don't need me to tell you that though. He's closer right up. Last trip around, he was 45/100th of a second slower than Ricker. Let's see what the times give us this trip around. 31.9 to a 31.6. Hignett, he's definitely on for a chance of victory here. Ricker is going to have to drive a very tidy race as we're approaching the final quarter hour of this race. Steele, oh, that was Terry Rayton. Thought he was having a bit of a moment through there. That was James Mack in the background. He's in P6, so that's for position, that battle. Here's Steele and Kinero. Last trip around, about 6/10 faster was Jack Steele over Vinny Kinero. So Kinero's got the job ahead of him right now. Through turn 14 and a half minutes left. See, it's been hovering about 0.3 to half a second. 32 flat on that last trip around compared to a 31.9 to Ricker. So it just opens up a little smidgen more breathing room. Here's Jack Steele. That looks like it's a pretty good run down the front straight. Kinero able to hold him off. I wonder if Terry Rayton's got some sort of issue there, or maybe tyres are starting to go off a little bit. But yeah, James Mack closing right up on Terry Rayton in the closing stages of this one. So good result for James Mack. He started in 8th. He's moved up a couple of spots. We've got 3 really good battles going on to close this one out. We're focusing on Steele and Kinero. Kinero doing everything he possibly can right now to keep that Aston Martin behind him. Jack Steele has got a little bit of a pace advantage over Kinero. It was 4/10 on that last lap. They're going side by side again. This is some more great racing we're seeing from Jack Steele. First it was he and Terry Rayton. Now it's him and Kinero. And right now, Vinny able to hold him off, but you'd have to think might not be too much longer. Having a look at Kinero having to fight to keep in the front of him there. Kinero looking a bit of over-under action here. Might try and get a toe down the front straight. And launching another attack here. Looks like Mack is thinking about doing the same. Going to go around the outside. Here's James Mack looking to go down the inside. Not quite. Jack Steele. And Rayton and Mack there. That's Matt Frost as well. So he'll be looking at all of this thinking, oh, okay, if these guys are going to scrap it out, that's going to allow me to get a little bit closer. So Frost, his best finishing position for the season is 4th. which was the last race at the Nordschleife. That's the difference between first and second. The difference between third and fourth is right there. As mentioned, it is quite difficult to pass around this track. Not many opportunities. So you can find yourself trailing a car for long periods of time, as we're seeing right now. Let's go a little bit more bonnet action here, shall we? Head through the third gear. Right-hander, turn 12. Long left-hander, 13 into 14. Not quite close enough on this trip around. You can see Mack and Rayton in the background as well. Nothing doing into turn 1 for Steele and Kinero, nor for Rayton and Mack. Nothing happening into turn 2 either for any of them. And this is the gap out in front with just under 11 minutes remaining. It's going to feel like an eternity, I think, for Max Ricker. 31.967 versus a 31.927. So that's the difference in pace. Hignett, the advantage on that previous lap. Here's Jack Steele. He's going to go side by side. This is through turn 7. Goes down the inside. Is he able to get it done? I think he is. Nice work from Steele. Let's see that again, shall we? Looks like he got a little bit squirrely off the exit, but he was able to get it done once again. We've seen some really high quality racing this evening from all drivers, but in particular Jack Steele, another clean pass for him. So nice work. There's Kinero there in the background. He's already made up a little bit of, he's already opened up the gap, has Steele on Kinero. And Terry Rayton doing his best to fend off the Porsche of James Mack as we're into single figures now. 9.5 minutes left in this one. Will Kinero fall into the clutches of Rayton? And can Mack get a little piece of that action as well? And then for the fight out in front, it's 4/10 the difference now. 3/10 in fact between Hignett and Ricker. Last lap, it was 5/100ths of a second separating the two. 31.995 versus a 31.990 to Hignett. So the slightest of slight advantages. As 111 drive through for track limits. That's Chris Hildebrandt, the silver driver. He's down there in 15th position, so he picks up a drive-through penalty there, and he's going to serve that immediately. So he'll pull into the pits, get the job done there. Less than 9 minutes remaining, and it's Hignett versus Hignett versus Ricker for the race victory. Steele is 12.7 seconds off these guys. Kinero is 1.5 seconds behind Steele right now. Rayton is a second behind Kinero, and hang on, I say that. What's happened, Vinny? Is he gonna lose 2 spots here? Just the one right now. Let's see what happened. So this is Kinero. Oh, it was a little mistake. He hit the sausage curb there. He was lucky to keep that facing the right way. And just a late race mistake there from Kinero has cost him a position. So he's dropped down now into P5 as we go back to live images. And that's the red Porsche of James Mack all over Kinero and Matt Frost as well. So Vinny Kinero can't afford to make any more mistakes because Mack will pounce and Frost will be right there ready to do the same if he can as well. So a spicy battle for 5th, 6th and 7th with just a tick over 7 minutes remaining. Gap is now at a second between Ricker and Hignett. So it's just opened up ever so slightly between these two. happened on this lap because the last lap around, Hignett was actually faster than Max Ricker, so maybe he's made a mistake somewhere along the lines, and that's just cost him a little bit of time. We'll see what it is this trip around. So Ricker hits the line. He does a 31.942 and a 32.550 to Hignett. So there you go. It's cost him, what, 6/10 roughly of time there. So it's a little bit of breathing room for Max Ricker. And we're right at the pointy end here. We're continuing. We'll watch the battle of Rayton, Kinneiro, Mack and Frost. Almost a four-way battle right now between those guys for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Where did Matt Frost start? He started in 7th. And he is 7th right now. Lost another one. That might be Chris Hildebrand, I reckon. 111 Lamborghini. He had that drive-through penalty for track limits. That might have just been the signal for him to finish things up for the evening. So Rayton's just opened up a little gap on this group here. Here's the difference between first and second. Still at almost a second the gap. 32.942. Yes, that was round 6/10 on that previous lap. We'll see what it says on this trip around as Ricker approaches the line. 32 flat, 31.9. So a 10th advantage on that trip to Hignett with 5 minutes remaining. Not long to go in this one now. So we're watching the quad of Rayton, Kinneiro, Mack and Frost. They will file through turn 1 once again. A couple of Porsches in there, a BMW. Silver class still being led by Peter Waugh down there in P10 outright, and Wally Masterson. So the two silver class and AM championship leaders, both in very good positions right now. Neil Fakeney was the closest contender to Peter Waugh, and he's a couple of spots behind him, so that'll give him a nice little cushion as we go into the final round next week at Paul Ricard. So we continue to watch 4th, 5th and 6th and 7th. Matt Frost in there. Gap between first and second, still hovering around that second gap. So they head down the front straight again. Probably only a couple more laps, maybe 3 laps at this stage. Hignett was faster only slightly. Here's Mack and Kinneiro going at it at turn 14. Looked like they almost made contact there. That's going to open up the door for Matt Frost. Going to have to go defensive into turn 1 is Mack. And Frost, he's sniffing a top 6 finish. Mack having to hang on for dear life here. So 3 minutes remaining. Probably a couple of laps, and that's going to be all she wrote. Rayton looks like he's got a comfortable enough gap. 1 second, the difference between him and Kinneiro. So it looks like he can hold off those guys for now. He wouldn't want to make a mistake though, because these guys will pounce from behind. The gap is at a second, the difference between Max Ricker and Benjamin Hignett right now. So when they cross the line, yeah, probably a couple more still to go after this one. As we go bonnet cam again from James Mack. They go up through turn 12. around the outside of 14. Hangs it a little bit too wide. Now he's going to open it up for Matt Frost. It's BMW versus Porsche. Two German manufacturers going down the front straight. And that is a victory for BMW. So Matt Frost moves up into P6. Can he make that P5? That'll be a monumental effort. Mark is fighting back now as well. So he's contesting that position. Ooh, gets a little bit wild through there, but manages to hang on to it. And so Matt Frost, he's now sniffing a top 5 position. He'll probably have a couple of laps to do it as well. Mac trying to hold on to his position. There's Terry Rayton up the road. 1.1 seconds is the gap now between Ricker and Hignett. So just can't quite close that gap. He was actually 0.4 slower on that previous lap, was Hignett over Max Ricker. Back to the action in 5th, 6th and 7th. Jack Steele just cruising along there in 3rd position. 13 seconds the difference between him and Hignett. As James Mack goes drifting out of turn 12 as we get the notification, leader is on the final lap, but Steele looking quite comfortable in 3rd position right now, as we're about 4.05 kilometres away from finishing this one, round number 8 of the season. And Max Ricker is looking like he's going to take his 2nd win on the trot, his 4th win total for the season, and it's been a lights to flag race for him as well. He's led the majority of the way by the pit stops, but he put it on pole. He has been the faster car out there. It's 1.7 seconds the gap now, so it's opening right up between he and Hignett. Just to finish this off in style, he was a couple of tenths faster on that previous lap, so maybe Hignett is conceded. And Ricker has about not even half a lap to navigate in this one. Frost and Vinny Canero got a little bit longer still to go though, as Ricker is approaching turn 14. So once again he put it on pole position. He's led for the majority of the race. He's had great pace from practice through to qualifying to the race. Max Ricker, victory number 2 in a row, 4 for the season. Congratulations. He's the round 8 winner. Benjamin Hignett, a very, very well-deserved P2. Congratulations to him. So that's a good result for the 471 McLaren. Here's Jack Steele. He's coming home to take a podium. Congratulations to Jack Steele. Terry Rayton, he's going to finish in 4th. Canero will get it from Frost and James Mack. That's 5th, 6th and 7th. Mitch Hayes, he'll be coming home in P8 right now as well. So congratulations to Mitch Hayes. He did start in 4th position, so he might not be particularly happy with that finish. Paul Russell, he'll finish in P9. 10th, and the highest of the silver class runners is Peter Wall. Congratulations to him. Adrian Rice, 2nd in class and 11th outright. Neil Fakeney, he'll come home in 12th. He rounds out the podium for silver class. Nando Latenzio in 13th, and Wally Masterson, the final car on the lead lap, he'll finish the race 14th, and he will also take out the AM class victory as well. So congratulations to Wally Masterson. But that's it, everyone. So Max Ricker, congratulations to him. Our race victor, Peter Wall, silver class, and Wally Masterson in the AM. Let's get some post-race interviews done, shall we? I'll save that replay. There we go. Good stuff. Alright, I'll get out of there. I'll quit this. Hang on a second. Alright, I'll get these post-race interviews sorted as well. Where are we? Open up Discord. I need to go to the green room. Hang on a second. There There it is, the green room. Oh, who's this? Oh, there's someone else.
Nick!
Max Ricker, my man, how you going?
Was complicated because half the racing I had a baby vomiting. So yeah.
You had a baby vomiting.
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
one is not feeling great. I'll need to jump straight into action, into daddy action.
Right. All right. Well, congratulations on your race victory. If you need to run off and be super dad, then by all means.
I'll do that. But
Good race though.
Ben was very fast. It was very hard, very hot. But yeah, it was a very good race. The key was qualifying. This bloody track, it's very hard to overtake.
Yes,
you know.
very hard.
But we were doing crazy laps, because those lap times. On when was it? On Friday, they did the qualifier for the World Championship in ACC.
Oh, yeah.
Organized by Motorsport Australia, and I think the top 6 they were on that pace.
Yeah.
You know, so oh man, we were going.
Yeah, that was that thing in Melbourne, I think, this last weekend.
Yeah, I didn't know that was on. I didn't know it was on. If not,
Yeah, me neither. Yeah,
I went to see it and I was like, oh, such a shame.
Yeah, because it was in the city. I live like close to the city. I could have gone in. But anyway, next time. But that was a good scrap with you and Benjamin Hignett at the end there. You had to work pretty hard to keep him behind you.
Yeah. Oh, it was fast, and I was distracted because of the little one and everything. I was like, my partner, my better half, she's been taking care of it, but she was telling me what's going on, and I was like in the pit, and I was starting the engine. I was like, the ignition is off, you idiot, you know. I was like, yeah, it was. I had up and downs, but Ben was quick.
Yeah,
the McLaren works very well there.
Yeah. No, he was.
Right.
Yeah, and he pushed you all the way to the end there. So, but yeah, another lights to flag victory for you, and that'll do the championship aspirations a world of good. And then you got Paul Ricard next week. How you feeling about that?
Yeah, I think that the championship I managed to close it already. So. I think I don't need to race next week, but I'm looking forward to Paul Ricard because it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good fun. Anyway, I need to leave you. I'll leave you in good hands with Wolsey here, and I'll see you next one. Thank you for everything as usual.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. Have a good night.
Yeah. Bye.
All right. Bye. Peter Wall, you there?
I am, mate.
Class victory number 5, mate. 5 of the best. Well done. That was a good race tonight.
Yeah, that was really good. Had really good pace. I wasn't very confident after Wacky Wednesday, but found a little change in the setup and my driving style, and all of a sudden it's just like the track just unlocked a second for me. Yeah,
and walk us through the little scrap that you had with Adrian Rice there out of the pits, and he was coming out of the pits. You'd already had your tyres up to temperature and pressures there. You had to get your elbows out a little bit.
Yeah, the game did that wonderful pit stop thing where it decides to pick you up and put you down for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
Which obviously pushed me back there. But yeah, it was obviously super tight on exit. I don't know if he crossed the white line a little bit, which made me exit. And it's just like, well, I've got one chance. So, yeah, I just put it down the middle. He gave me just enough room. We had a tiny little tap, but... yeah, I thought it was a pretty fair move. He gave me just enough room, and I used all of it.
Yeah. I thought it was... I didn't think there was too much in it. It was just a little bit of, having to get your elbows out and get your way through. So it was a nice work. And it was other than that, it seemed like it was a pretty sort of controlled race for you. I didn't see you sort of under too much pressure for the majority of that one tonight.
Yeah, I was looking forward to having a good scrap with Crunch, but then it looked like he locked the rears into the hairpin before the chicane, which sent him off, and then pulled away from Paul, and then I made a mistake which let Paul through, and we're on similar pace, but it was sort of hit and miss. Some laps that he'd be faster, some laps I'd be faster, so I decided to pit much earlier than I originally planned, which... Paul did have a bit of a gap, but I managed to reel him in that second stint. I as the temperature dropped, it just helped me a bit because my tyres were cooking in that first stint, but those couple of temperatures drop really helped my car because I was over 100 on the right rear for the first stint, and I think I got 98. That was my peak in the second stint, so much better.
Right, okay, so settled down in that second stint. Yeah, good stuff. All right, well, I think you might. You get a 41-point lead for the Silver Championship over Neil Fakey. So he finished a couple of spots behind you. So that's all good. And how are we feeling about Paul Ricard next week?
Paul Ricard is not my best track. I'm really crap in the third sector. So we'll see how I go there. The Ferrari should be pretty good, I imagine, as well. But the Beamer and the Mustang, I imagine, are going to be very, very strong. But as long as even if I finish just behind them, I should be pretty safe, I think.
Yeah.
I need to do the maths to figure out what I need next week. But yeah, it should be pretty. Shouldn't need too much to try and take home silver.
Well, I think you got the championship pretty much sewn up. But well, good race for you tonight. Class victory number 5, 10th outright. Onwards and upwards to Paul Ricard next week.
Cheers, mate, and yeah, as always, thank you so much for doing this commentary for us.
Yeah, no
and unfortunately, I checked the winner of AMP couldn't stick around. So
I saw that. Wally had to go, but all good. All right, awesome. Cheers. All right, thanks for that. Have a good night.
You too, mate. See ya.
See you, Wolsey. All right, cool. That is it, everyone. So we're all done. That was round number 8 in the books. As mentioned, next week we're going to do it all again. Same place, same time. Round number 9 will wrap up the season at Paul Ricard. So thanks, everyone, for watching this evening. We'll do it all again next week. In the meantime, have a great week. And yeah,